Hello, friends. Welcome to Ildefonso Inc. I am your host today, Spencer Alfonso, and we have a great episode lined up. We are going to be breaking down a song called Breakfast for One by Topeka Clementine. And today's guest is Kai Simovich of Topeka Clementine. And if you want to know a little bit about us, we're Ildefonso Inc., a full-service sync house and music agency, and this series is where we invite our songwriters to hang at Ildefonso Studios to talk about their process of songwriting, producing, and arranging. So today we are going to be breaking down the new single from Topeka Clementine, Breakfast for One, written by Kai Simovich and Holden Miller. And it was released on February 9th, 2024, and Topeka Clementine has a new album coming this summer. So, Kai, how are you doing today?
Doing phenomenal.
Amazing.
Yeah, doing great.
So how has the single been going?
The release has been insane. I posted like these, I've just been posting these little 8-second clips of like literally the first little piano lick, and the reception has been unbelievable. I went to bed on Thursday night with like 10,000 followers, and I woke up this morning with like 18.5 thousand. So yeah, it's like, I don't know, I'm finding my people. I'm finding all the Leve heads and the Wager Project fans and all of them. And I feel like it's almost just like I'm making a little fan club for like those other groups just by being me. And yeah, it's fun.
When you wrote that song, first of all, when did you write the song?
I think I wrote the bones for that song probably summer of last year.
Okay, so 2023 summer. Okay, cool. And what was your headspace when you were writing the song? Were you thinking about this is a way to connect with an audience of people who love what I love? Or was it just kind of like, I'm going to make what I like and figure out how to market it later?
Yeah, it was a really spur of the moment thing. It was like fully emotional based. Like the backstory is, the backstory is like in the song now. Also Holden Miller, if you're seeing this, fuck you. And I mean that respectfully. But like Holden Miller just weaves like so much emotional warfare into the way he writes music. Like the first time I met him, I heard his song, what's the name of the song? It's She'll Still Be. It's about like a woman going through cancer treatment and like losing all her hair, but like she's still beautiful, like all these things. And I was taking care of my mom and still am, and we're going through like chemo together, and I just was like running some errands, and I heard the song, and I just started like bawling in the car, and I DM'd him on Instagram, like I like just completely cold DM, like fuck you for making this beautiful song. Like I'm never gonna heal from this one. Like this is crazy. And then it just turned into me like going to a couple of his shows, and then we got the co-write together, and I brought the bones of this song that's essentially about the biggest fumble I think I've ever had in my life, like this completely botched date that like everything on paper should have went great, and I was just like an absolute nervous wreck, and I fumbled the bag. I'll admit I fumbled, and I got ghosted shortly after, and I brought this song to him, and he was like, I was telling him the backstory, and he's like, well, none of the backstory is like in the song, let's just add more of that. I'm like, no, that's all the raw, like emotional bits that I want to just like hide and keep to myself. It's like, no, like put it on the track. So yeah. Did that answer the question?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's taking us on the journey, setting us up for your mindset. So what I had asked was the marketing a part of the plan of the writing process? And your answer is, through the chemistry of your co-write, you two were able to pull out more realism and details about almost like an autobiographical songwriting process than you had intended. And now you're marketing it through kind of the intro, which is the piano kind of opening. Was that piano opening something that happened after your co-write with Holden?
Oh yeah, way after. That was like I just like wanted to get extra really quick, and I was like, what's the most extra thing I can play? And it was just like the opening. It's just like an arpeggiated E major 7 down, and then like a flourish thing. But yeah, that was like way after. But then I realized like each little flourish, because I pretty much just play the chord progression, and I do it with like each chord in the progression. Each one was like 8 seconds. I'm like, oh, like target Instagram reel length right now is like 8 seconds, like 7 to 10 seconds. So that's probably like perfect. And it was completely by accident. But yeah, the song came from a super emotional place, and I had no idea how I was going to market it in the beginning. But now it's just like making little reels of me making breakfast, and people seem to really enjoy that. So
where did the song title come from? Was it you had, because when you said you had an idea that you brought to Holden, was there a song title attached and that chorus kind of tag in there, or did Holden draw that out from the desire for it to be more honest and truthful?
So I had the chorus completely done. And I had some verse ideas, but he really helped me flesh them out. So yeah, the like, you know that I'd give you everything, now I'm just stuck making breakfast for one. Like that was already in there. That was the only thing I was like for certain needs to be here. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then so the breakfast theme, where did that come from?
So the breakfast theme, that's funny. So this person that I had this, like, that I totally fumbled. We still watch our Instagram stories. I know that's like pretty common. Like you just get ghosted, but you're still like watching each other's Instagram
you have
stories.
A lurker.
Yeah, right. And then it's funny because I thought I was like pretty much over it. This happened last year in like January. It's like February of this year now. And like a couple months go by, and I thought I was fine. And then like I saw one of the Instagram stories, and it was like, oh, like when he makes breakfast for you, and it was like their new boyfriend. And I was just like, it was just an unimpressive breakfast. Like the scrambled eggs looked like objectively like too hard, and like the toast was like a little burnt, and it just didn't look seasoned or anything. And then I was just like, that like triggered this whole like new wave of emotions, just like I should be the one making you breakfast kind of thing. And then I just sat down and did
breakfast.
Yeah, like, come on, no, like you would like the breakfast, I would make you like way better. But yeah, I just sat down at the piano, and it just like that part at least like poured out of me like immediately. And that's crazy too, because like that's sort of like the first time I've experimented with like jazzier chords, I guess. Like I've been a 1-4 progression pop beat kind of 808s person for the first full year, I think, of like my songwriting and production. And yeah, that just really came out of me. I was like, oh, this is like definitely more in the lane of music I actually like to listen to. Not that I don't like to listen to pop music, but I definitely had what I like to listen to and then what I made. But this is the first time those things have kind of coalesced in a meaningful way. And I feel like in a sonically uniform kind of way.
So that's the concept. What about the arrangement? I personally feel like there's a little bit of like a 70s glam theatrical feel to it, kind of like David Bowie's Hunky Dory album or Elton John Yellow Brick Road. Is that just my musical taste, or are you drawn to that genre at all? Is that purely coincidental?
I think that's like a combination of me liking British bedroom pop and then also being fruity.
Okay, what's British bedroom pop?
Well, I don't think it's like a direct inspiration. So I feel like it's like Tiny Umbrellas, Cave Town, I think MXN Tune, like Rex Orange County, like cats like that. I feel like,
which I know Rex Orange County is really inspired by Stevie Wonder. So like kind of a similar 70s kind of pop, but with a lot of musicality happening in a pop song kind of.
Yeah, I feel like just the direct influence of like, Elton John, Queen.
Yeah, I could totally hear the Queen.
Acts like that are so in that music. And I think I'm like secondarily accessing it through this other stuff. Yeah. I think that's where a lot of that comes from.
Rad. So the key changes, where did that idea come from?
That actually, Holden, he just sent me this little video message, and he just started singing it, and he's like, wait, you hear how that's like, I think I just sang that like 2 half steps up. Like, what if we did a key change? I know they're kind of like cheesy, but like, what if we like put a key change in there? And then I was kind of like, okay, bet. Let me get manic for a second. And then I added like 3 back to back in there. Yeah, because like we do that double chorus, and then it goes up. And then halfway through, because as I was walking it down, I accidentally hit that E flat major instead of the minor. I was like, ooh, that's kind of spicy, but how do I make that make sense in context? And then I realized you just drop the second half of the chorus a half step. And like I kind of get there with like just sort of brute forcing a C7 in there, just to give it some context. And then I liked the idea that it just went back up to like when you stole the show, like that bit, like it goes back up again, because that's the original piece that Holden Miller had sang to me in the key change. But then I also wanted to like flip that, so even though it's in F sharp, it somehow resolves to D at the very end, because then that sets up, I can arpeggiate the D up and then play the original lick in E major like way over the top, and it's essentially like I just extended that D major chord, and it just feels like the same thing, the same concept, but the emotion has like changed completely. And that's how I think that's how I see a lot of the songs I write, where like through the process of writing the song, the emotion changes. Like now it's to the point where I feel like I can talk about the story behind the song pretty freely without too much emotion attached behind it, which is kind of nice. Like I'm still feeling all of them, but it's helped me process them in a broader sense.
Yeah. What about the recording process itself? Were you all in one location? Was this where you record all your songs? Was it just you playing all the instruments?
Yeah, so this one, I think it's unique in that even though I finally tried to help establish the brand as me being a solo artist, this is the only one off the album where I'm actually playing and singing all the parts. Yeah, I tracked the piano. I just took the hood off my upright, shoved 2 condenser mics in there, one on the left, one on the right. Felt is on for sure. And then...
What condenser mics did you use?
Whatever I had lying around. I have like this AKG one, and then this other one. It's
it sounds really good.
Thank you.
I think you're finding your piano sound, and there's depth to it, and there's like a nice tactileness to it. And with the idea of it becoming a trending sound on Reels, I think it's a cool compliment to your engineering to see lots of people hearing it and knowing, there still is a valid reason to learn and grow the craft, because no matter how much technology tries to take away from the humanness of music, it's comforting to know that you're probably what will be your most viral sound is a very organic human sound. So it's a cool combination of like technology doing what technology does and humans doing what humans do. So I think that particular piano sound has something warm and organic and 3-dimensional to it. So you recorded that on your family piano that you grew up with, which is a what?
It's a Yamaha, the brown one.
It's a brown, the brown model. Yeah. What about guitars? What guitars were you recording with?
I recorded all of that with, like those Volkswagen guitars that.
No,
like those
I don't know what a Volkswagen guitar
they're like,
is.
it's funny because I just resaw the John Mayer commercial for it, but it was like, I don't know, back in like maybe the early 2000 or mid 2000, like maybe 2008, give or take. That just was the vibe of the commercial was, but it's like, it was John Mayer playing like this first act guitar that's like made by Volkswagen, and it's like when you buy a Volkswagen, like you get this limited edition, like
I'm seeing it now.
Volkswagen first act guitar.
It's a sweet looking guitar. So this is the one I've seen you play before, and I asked you about it. It looks like this was in his like Vultures era. He had long hair. It's a cool looking guitar. So it's the Volkswagen guitar.
it's the Volkswagen first act. And
you just run a DI into your interface.
Yeah, and then I use probably like 60s jazz combo. I like double tracked in octaves, so it's like mostly anytime I'm playing a lick, I'm just playing the same lick an octave up and down. And it's probably like one's like a 60s jazz combo preset on Logic, and then the other one's like probably like the tweed or something, the heavenly tweed with like less reverb.
And did you say you've switched over to Logic? Because I know last record you did it in GarageBand, right?
Yeah, I have switched to Logic just for like workflow purposes, I feel like, and I still haven't had to pay for it, which is sick. So I think if I had to pay for it, I wouldn't use it. But I'm just a cheap ass like that.
How do you like Logic as opposed?
I'm so sorry. Time to post.
How do you like Logic so far?
I like the fact that you can hit like the TA and then do like the fade out on the front and back, like especially when you're like comping stuff, or like I always have these little clicks or like things. And
how'd you learn the TA trick? Because that's like one of my favorites.
On accident.
Oh, really?
Fully on accident. I just learned how to like the global tracks thing too. I accidentally pressed G the other day and I was like, wait, what was that? And then like I hit it and I was like, oh, that's what that does. Sick. I literally just will accidentally press things, or like sometimes when I'm like trying to rename a track, I don't click it right, and then I'll like be typing and then all these things will be happening. And then I'm like, wait, let me run back the word that I just used, and like I'll dissect every letter of the word I was trying to use and then find all these new commands.
That's dope.
And that's how I learned Logic.
That's one of my favorite motivations for co-writing with other Logic users is you inevitably pick up at least like 1 to 2 shortcuts every time.
Yeah, like what did I just learn? That was amazing. The option click for the speed.
Option click for the speed.
Yeah, you can like, if you just like drag it, it'll like proportionally drag it out if you hit option click, like, and like warp the speed of the track.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I know that one.
Yeah.
I'll have to try that.
That's a new one.
Yeah. It's like every day there's a new, if you work with people, every day you'll learn something new about Logic, which is really cool because from the surface, it looks really simple, but there's so much you can do with it. So it's always a good motivation to collaborate.
Shout out to UV Damage for teaching me that one.
Nice. Drums. What about drums? What do you do for drums?
Logic SoCal preset one with a little bit of Cymatics Origin. That's like,
what's Cymatics Origin?
It's this free plugin, and I should stop plugging it. I need to gatekeep it better because they're gonna not make it free eventually. But it's like there's like 5 knobs on it. One's like a resample. One's like a warp. Like it'll just like, or it's called movement, and it'll just like bend things like really kind of randomly. There's a saturation, there's a bit of a chorus, and then there's one that's just white noise, like how much white noise you want in. And
which that's a cool trick for kick drum. That's what Jeff Buckley's mixing engineer did on the Grace album. Is he would sidechain trigger white noise on the kick drum. And that was eye-opening for me because I love the way that 90s records sound. And you would think, they just set up mics and ran it through a console. But that was an era where there was still some sorcery happening that we use today. I mean, all eras have techniques we still use. But the white noise one, I was like, whoa, that's really clever. And I would have never guessed that that's what they did.
Well, I learned that the guitar solo on Hard Day's Night is like resampled.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he knew he couldn't like the doom. He knew he couldn't play it quick enough. George didn't, so they played it at half speed. He played it an octave down, and then
those the tape machine as an instrument.
Yeah, but that was like in the 60s. Like you wouldn't think like they were doing things like that You know, you'd think it's like, oh, they were just like really good players and they all just came in and like did a day of. And like, no, they were using modern music technology to the best of its ability even then. So
totally. Okay, sweet. Well, last question. What about the bass? What was your setup for the bass?
That's an Austin bass.
Austin bass. Yeah. I'm gonna look that up.
4-string DI into the thing with like the 60s combo stack or what's it called on Logic? You know what I'm talking about? I think it's called
the bass amp simulator.
Yeah, it's called like 60s combo.
Okay, sweet. And what is the interface that you're using?
I'm using a PreSonus.
Okay, sweet.
4 input.
Nice.
One, yeah.
All right. Anything else about the song that we didn't mention before we say goodbye?
I said, fuck you, Holden Miller, right? I just want to make sure that's in there. Okay, cool. I love you, but you emotional warfare like nobody else.
You've healed.
No, it's been amazing. And I'm only saying that because like we're homies. We just like hang out. We just hung out on like Saturday. But no, yeah, he's just really pulling emotions out of people.
Would you do that again?
Oh, totally.
Seeing that you are in a different place emotionally by taking that more autobiographical approach?
Oh yeah, it was really healing in its own way.
Does the lurker in your Instagram stories know the song is about them?
I don't think they pay enough attention. I think it's definitely so one-sided. This is like an unrequited situation. Like they don't pay attention enough to that. And I wouldn't even go to call them a lurker. That's a little savage. I think if anyone's the lurker, I'm the fucking lurker.
You're the one who wrote the entire song.
I know. I wrote a fucking song about it. That's how.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Kai, for coming on and breaking down Breakfast for One. Give us a quick breakfast tip.
Season your eggs.
Season your eggs. All right. Well,
after, or else the eggs get pale.
Okay. No pale eggs and season them. Where can our audience find you?
You can find me on the corner of Topeka and Clementine Street.
Oh, wow. There's no doxing you. Your band name is The Dox.
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram, topeka.clementine. You can find me on YouTube, Topeka Clementine. You can find me on TikTok, topeka.clementine. You can find me on Spotify, Topeka Clementine, and Apple Music, all the streaming, Topeka Clementine. What else? Where else can you find
YouTube,
me?
Right? Did you say YouTube?
I said YouTube.
Okay, YouTube.
Yeah. You can find me just kicking it.
At the soda bar?
Yeah, at the soda bar. You could find me in your local pond with all the other silly geese.
Do you float or do you swim?
It's like, you know, I'm like pretty calm up here, but downstairs it's just like, there's a lot of leg movement keeping me there.
But you're good. You're chilling. They don't need to worry, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay,
yeah,
cool. All right. Well, you can follow us on Instagram at Ildefonso Inc. You can also follow us on Twitter at Ildefonso Inc. and visit our website at ildefonso.co. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Now I'm staring back into those brown eyes I knew in 8th grade. Did you come alone? Well, I'm here with a friend. But later when everything slows down, we could play pretend. Cause you know that I'd give you everything. Now I'm just stuck making breakfast for one. Coffee don't taste the same. Miss how you say my name. Guess I just wasn't the one. And we'd make this work in some other life. I'd come over for dinner, I'd prep and I'd get a nice wine. We'd put on old films and turn out the light. took 17 hours to get it all